We're going to solve fractional equations in this lesson. All this means is that I have an equation that has a fraction within it. For example, 4 over x plus 7 equals 35. I have 4 over x that looks like a fraction within my equation. So what we're going to learn in this section is that since most of us don't enjoy working with fractions, we can learn to get rid of the fraction so that it is not bothering us in this problem. So what we can do is take and clear out the fractions by multiplying by a common denominator. We're going to look for a common denominator. Denominator is the math term for whatever is in the bottom of the fraction. So in this case, I only have one fraction, and it has an x in the denominator. When there's only one fraction involved, the common denominator is the denominator of that fraction. So my common denominator is x. What I'm going to do is multiply every term. We're going to multiply every term of the equation by the common denominator, which means I'm going to multiply this 4 over x. I'm going to multiply it by x. I'm going to multiply this 7 by x. And I'm going to multiply this 35 by x. Now that seems pretty complicated. It seems like I'm taking this equation and making it more complicated. But actually what's going to happen is when I multiply this 4 over x times this x, I'm actually going to make the fraction go away. Because if I multiply by x, it's like saying x over 1 times 4 over x. And if you remember your fraction rules, you remember that I can cross-cancel common factors. So the x on the bottom cancels with the x on the top. And that fraction completely goes away and simplifies to just 4. When I multiply the 7 times x, I get 7x. And when I multiply the 35 times x, I get 35x. So I've taken an equation that had a fraction, and now I've ended up with an equation with no fraction that can be solved. I subtract 7x. I get 4 equals 28x. I divide by that 28. 4 over 28 is the same as 1 over 7 when it's reduced. 1 over 7 is my answer.